What's going on, Tomboy Official? We got a fast-moving morning here. Yeah, got a little writer's block. So, if you're wondering what's up with these topics, that's what's up with these topics. Kind of just winging it. Gonna hydrate. Today was nothing bad. Just so far, it's not as, go-getter as Monday morning was, which is fine. Not every morning. I'm not going to wake up and work out every single morning, but it was nice yesterday. This morning is a whole different story. My sleep is a little off. So, I'm trying to hydrate and caffeinate at the moment. Got some eggs boiling and some oats are kind of soaking for about 10 minutes. And I'll just have some oats and berries and eggs for breakfast, and I'll have a pretty good breakfast. I've had some pretty good healthy meals. Yesterday was a pretty good healthy day. But my sleep still, was way off. I don't think these new gummies are very compatible with maybe my caffeine intake. I actually think my melatonin regimen is actually more effective. And I'm kind of surprised to say that because I'm a big on cannabis products, but this one, it says fast acting. It's not fast acting. It's like the slowest acting product I've ever used. This is my second day using it. Well, Monday night was. It's got 10 milligrams THC, 40 milligrams CBD, 5 milligrams phytomelatonin in each one single gummy. So on Sunday night, I took a fourth of one, thinking, okay, 2.5, about 2.5 milligrams of indica, THC, about 10 milligrams of CBD, about 1.25 milligrams of this phytomelatonin. Then I took, because it didn't kick in very quick at all, then I took a 5 milligram melatonin, probably around like 12:30 or midnight or 11 p.m. Sunday night or whatever, because I was still up. Last night I took half of one of these things. So that was like 5 milligrams of THC, 20 milligrams of CBD, 2.5 milligrams of this phytomelatonin, and again, I wasn't sleeping. I took it at 8:30 p.m., I think both nights. I still wasn't sleeping, and so around, maybe it was 12:30 or so, or maybe it was 10 last night, I can't remember, but I took another 5 milligrams of melatonin. Started falling asleep around like 1:30 or so. I was like knocking out. But then I woke up, because I had to use the restroom. So I woke up for the restroom real quick. Then I was up again till past 2:30. I put on some ASMR. And I was up probably till almost 3. But I'm caffeinated now. I'm waking up fine. I'm getting up fine. It's just the caffeine. It's not like a real alert wakefulness. But I think once I eat, I'll be fine. Because I was resting early, slept early. Well, I didn't like fall asleep, like deep sleep early, but I was definitely in bed early. I think I had caffeine a little late yesterday. It was like 1 p.m., but not not super, super late, and it wasn't a whole lot. But I did realize by the time I got off work around 5, I was still a little pumped up more than usual. So, I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see. See where it all goes, right? All right, Tomboy Official. Well, it's the next day. It's like 6:10 a.m. I'm up. I've been up. I actually watched the sun come up. Well, not really the sun, because it's a gray morning. Shout out to LA June gloom, man. It's gray, but that's fine, because it's kind of always gray almost every morning in June. And then the heat starts, and it doesn't go away until maybe there's a snowboard season. In the last couple years, it's been earlier, I guess, like around November. But you never know. So I don't really know if there's like a weather trend. But May gray and June gloom are for real out here. Like, the sun doesn't get kind of going until at least usually around my lunchtime. If not later, like around 2 or so. Today I need to get some sun. I need to get some vitamin D. I need to just get outside. But yeah, I don't know. I slept better last night. I didn't take those sleep gummies. I took the usual hybrid that I usually take. Took it early after work. And then while I was taking it after work, I felt fine. I wanted to do something creative. Still got the little writer's block, kind of creativity block going on a little bit, but I'm not really forcing it. I kind of had a thought yesterday to read, not read it on here, but to read on my own this certain religious text, kind of more for fun. Like, I just wanted to read it, and see kind of what social ideas came out of it. But I was kind of all over the place last night, so I didn't read it. But I was thinking about it before I was like about to go to bed. So yeah, other than the hybrid gummy, I took my melatonin, probably about 7.5 or so milligrams. Slept all the way through the night pretty much. So I don't really know what to say about that. I had a good time sleeping. I kind of wanted to talk about this weird dream I had. It was yesterday morning, so that was kind of weird because I was already awake, but I fell back to sleep. And yesterday morning, my day pushed, like, everything was kind of like, yesterday was fine, but, you know, when I woke up, like, everything was, like, right last second. And so I was up, I was rolling, I was doing everything, but I literally finished making breakfast about the time that work was starting. So I had already logged in. I log in early, because you never know if Windows wants to update all of a sudden or whatever. And so, you know, I usually start at least 10 minutes early. Sometimes I'll log in like 30 minutes early and just let the computer just sit open. For me, that's kind of like more relaxing. Like, I don't like the last second login because these computers do take a while to kind of boot up. So I'm gonna be, I log in early, but so yesterday I had logged in early, but I kind of waited till the last second with the food, and so I was eating like right when I started work, but eating lightly. I didn't have a huge appetite. Ate it early, kind of like a late, I don't know, around 11 something. I ate again for lunch. I had a little bit of rice and chicken and some coconut dal. It's organic, packaged in a little like pouch, and so I was like, yeah, it seems like kind of healthy enough. And then the rest of my blackberries, I ate those. And yeah, I ate early so I could get some exercise during work. So I did a little exercise routine during my 30-minute lunch. And then I might do that again today. I'll see. But that was kind of nice. I kind of like having the full evening to myself, because mornings, I don't fully get mornings to myself sometimes. Like this morning, that's why I'm up early recording, because my mom takes the trash cans down in the mornings. It's not that I can't really do household chores and stuff like that. It's just I let her do her thing. I don't want to take her, her errands and, chores and things away from her. She's got a routine going, and it doesn't seem like she's overwhelmed by it. So I just kind of let her do her thing. But that means Wednesday she's up pretty early. And so, I don't really get the comfort of recording without anyone else being kind of like up. I think she'll be up kind of like just before 7. But I was going to work on some covers this morning. I don't usually work on anything in the morning other than like podcast stuff. But I was kind of online, and because someone had asked me, because I was saying, I think the first time I went to LA Pride, I'd paid like $15, and someone was asking me, when was that? And I was like, I really don't know. But I went back, I was on Facebook to go back through my pictures, because I was like, I know I have a picture on my Facebook of the year when I was at one of the festivals, and I went with a friend and her mom in the daytime, and her mom's friends, like a couple of her friends. So I was there with maybe like 3 older women and just one of my friends. And then we ran into a childhood friend that we both had in common, that we went to school with. And I remember we took a picture and we posted it on Facebook. So I went looking for that picture, but I found a different picture that was from 2017. That was the year that I went with someone else. So it was either 2016 or 2015 or so, when I had gone with a friend, with the friend and her mom. But I'd also gone around like 2017, when it used to be at that art center or whatever that place is called. It has those big buildings. It has those big like red building, and I don't know, like, let me see if I can find the name of it. But basically I went, and I was like when did we actually go to LA Pride? When it was $15, and that's crazy. I actually don't think it was expensive up until, dude, I wonder what I paid. I don't know. The picture is I don't know where the picture is. This is such a distracting site because it's like I went on there earlier and started scrolling around and looking at other people's things. I don't go on Facebook much because people tend to just want to, it's kind of just people negatively unloading about their problems and things, which is fine. I mean, I just don't want to read it necessarily. Does that mean to say? So June 11, 2027, my photos, they say Ovation Hollywood. Yeah, there's that picture of in the background of that building. It's like red and it has like angles. I can't remember if there's like also a blue and green building, but there are a couple buildings. I remember the entrance was like, you'd have to stand in line near those buildings. And I remember the lines used to be long, and yeah, we sat in traffic for like ever. And these photos are like in the daytime. They're not late afternoon or early evening. It's probably at the latest is probably like 1 p.m. But I feel like it's earlier. Does it have a time? I don't think we have a timestamp on this, but yeah, those times were fun. Things have changed since then. It kind of just depends what you like as the change, but I like seeing things change, LA has a lot more Pride events too, so if people don't want to pay for the major entertainment one, there are plenty other events. There's Long Beach, there's Inglewood. Inglewood sold out, but it's free, if you know what I mean. Like they're at capacity with tickets. Compton got canceled because of no funding. WeHo Pride seems to fund other prides. I think once they kind of combined with Compton. This was like the second year that Compton Pride was going to happen. I think the first year it was online. The second year it got absorbed by WeHo Pride. The third year it happened. I made it to that one. This would have been the fourth year, so it got canceled because of the funding, unfortunately. So things like that, where it's like I'm seeing prides come up and try to come up, and then there's places like, near the Forum, they're going to have one in Inglewood, and that one, is free. Again, I don't know the parking situation, but I'll probably just go over there anyways, even though I don't have a ticket, and just kind of go in, hang out, go around it and hang out and just see what's what. Maybe just people watch and grab a bite to eat, or see if there's some kind of nearby events. There's probably some spots that might have some events, so I might check it out. I don't know if it's this weekend. Shoot, I need to look, but I went on Facebook to find that, and then I ended up finding not the picture I was looking for, but a little bit later picture, and then I saw these groups, so that was kind of why I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, because I forgot that Facebook has groups. There's like a lot of like LGBT groups, and Let me see. Yeah, there's a lot of like LGBT groups, private groups that I was seeing pop out. What's her name? What's her name? I haven't looked at her content in a bit just because I've fallen off from it, but I still like her stuff. Jamie Messina. So Jamie Messina has that Club Lilies group. They're pretty active in different parts, especially major cities, if people are trying to connect with them. I don't remember what you have to fill out to connect, but they kind of do little meetups and stuff, or people send like, hey, is anybody going to be like in this area this time or whatever, I'm in this city, I'm in LA, I want to go out, and somebody want to go out this Thursday night or whatever, but it seems more casual, more kind of impromptu scheduling, but it's more like the people are through that group, like they're connected through Jamie Messina's group. So yeah, they're basically, they have their connections, and that they're making, or I was just on there to see people talking to each other, like just see what the group chat is and just look at it sometimes, and but it seems like, at least in my areas, it's pretty active in San Diego and LA. Like, it doesn't sound like they have like massive event planning or anything, but it's like low key, like little event planning, like little, like just people who want to meet up just send out like, hey, who wants to meet up or whatever. And I think that's cool, like I don't really know what to think about it fully, because I haven't yet gone to any of those, but I think that's a cool idea, because it's like, the people are local, they're part of some kind of group that you're online with, so you're following a certain content creator, probably, if you made it to their group, you probably follow Jamie Messina's content, maybe, so you probably have that in common. And you probably have in common that, you're interested in the topics that she discusses. Like, I know she went through the 4 agreements. She had her own, I think last year, I think I got into that group last year. It was, and it was really helpful timing for me, because I think that's about when I started working on my health a lot. And it was a group during Pride Month, or maybe in the month of May, I can't remember. It was a group where they kind of talked about what's going on for everybody and stuff. I don't remember if I was able to tune in live every time, or if I went back, because you could go back and like watch the live Zoom call. I think she got online, Jamie Messina got online with the people who registered for that group, and they did it, I don't know if it was once or twice a week, but let's just say it was once or twice a week, and she would do a live Zoom call, and people could kind of like check in and like talk about their weeks, and it was there was a lot of depth to it. Like, it was pretty cool hearing other people's, like, people talk about their lives. And it wasn't like a huge, massive group, which is kind of good too. But it was, it was cool that, she kind of opened like this, it was an affordable, interactive social, constructive, productive, kind of mental health, kind of like more like peer interactions, community, peer, social group. I like the access to it, the casualness of it. That, there was like a sense of community of people, kind of like, checking in about their weeks and stuff. But I feel also when people check in about their weeks, and I'm like this too, because I notice whenever I'm like podcasting and stuff, it's like it's so easy to focus on like, this didn't go right, this was annoying, that was annoying. I'm not saying that everybody was like just like negative about what was happening, or just only talking about like the negative things in their days, but it's cool, that's I thought that was a really creative way, to kind of approach community, and having people be able to come in and talk in detail about whenever they've been experiencing lately, and I don't know if they're doing it this time. I don't remember how much it was. I want to say maybe $45 or so. I don't remember. But it was kind of like, a way for people to kind of get themselves kind of on track, start having goals, get toward reaching certain goals, whether it's like physical health, emotional goals, like whatever kind of things for our health. Like, and I know Jamie Messina is very health focused, it seems, and she posts a lot from like the gym and just what she's reading and stuff like that. And dare I say this, a lot of times I've noticed kind of with some, I don't know if it's lesbian culture or LGBT culture, there's a lot of reading. People read a lot. People read a lot. People talk about books. There's communication about social justice and current events and some of those political conversations, because a lot of that stuff, some of it affects the community, with legislation. I remember, when they were, all the stuff that was going on about like drag performances at a certain point and all kinds of stuff. I got a really interesting, what do you call it? An interesting piece of mail from Geico, because that's my insurance. But it was just, okay, I was gonna read this, even though it has nothing to do with anything. Well, I don't want to put it that way, but I was wondering what I think about this. I kind of wanted to talk about this. And this is a morning of random topics for me. Okay, so it says notice of change in policy terms. Your automobile policy has been revised. These changes can be found in the enclosed policy documents. Please keep in mind you only have the coverages which are listed on your declarations page. It goes in all that, and then it says, to read your automobile policy. In the very next section, under agreement, it says the sentence prior to the agreement is deleted. And it starts talking about all these sections and changes and stuff. But this was just interesting. It said, under your current policy, whenever he, his, him, himself appears in this policy, you may read she, her, hers, or herself. Under your renewal policy, so that's a section called under your renewal policy. It's like the next sentence. It says this language is deleted. We have replaced gender references with non-gender pronouns. And then it just goes into all this liability coverage definitions and stuff. And it says, under your current policy, the words italicized in this section, in section 1 of this policy, are defined below. And I don't know, it goes into all this other stuff of basically what the renewal and whatever they've changed, what that looks like. But I mean, I don't usually read those kind of things. I just look to see if there's anything that they want me to submit, or if there's a little envelope that says okay, we need you to submit your car's mileage because we need to update your insurance plan or whatever it is. I look for those things. I usually don't even read these things. But I just thought it was interesting. I was like, okay, so I started opening, I looked at the mail and I was like, why is this so thick? And I looked in it, I just flipped through all the pages and I was like, it's just a document with an explanation. There's no numbers of what do you owe, or it's not talking about insurance coverage plans and their prices or anything. Because I think my renewal is coming up, because I do 6 months at a time. So it should be coming up actually. But yeah, it was kind of what the heck, what are they talking about? Did they do something and make the policy have was it me specifically, or did all the policies say he, him, his, or are they changing it now? Because they said, because I, my pronouns are she, hers, but then it said that they're changing it to use, what did they say? We have replaced gender references with non-gender pronouns. And so they're saying that they've changed it to have non-gender pronouns in the new policy. Or that, I don't understand what, because it says whenever he, him, or his occurs, you can read it as she, her, hers, or whatever it says. So they're just just ignore it and just read it as she, her, hers, but then in the new policy we're not using gender pronouns or non-gender pronouns. Is that, I don't know. And is this a thing that's happening with multiple companies? I don't really know. I don't understand if it's even related to, gender relevant topics. I don't know if this is related. Is what is happening here related to gender, or is it just something that just randomly they happen to be doing that I happen to read? Like, I don't really know. Like, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't really know what it is. I don't know what it's I don't know. It was just kind of an interesting thing that kind of came up. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting because I was like, okay, like, that was just an interesting little thing to read. I was just like, okay. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. It kind of just threw me in a way, I guess, because I don't really know. Like I said, I don't know what's going on out there. I don't really actively pay as close attention as I could, because it stresses me out to know too many details about what's going on. But I'm wondering if those statements about these policy changes have anything to do with, like, you know, LGBTQ plus community, or if it just happens to be that, you know, people like me look at something like that and that's kind of where my mind goes, is that, oh, they're trying to make these changes to be more inclusive, or to be more, like, conscious of how they're speaking about, you know, pronouns and things. I mean, there are a lot of, you know, it's not uncommon to find literature or books or whatever where they just default to say he, and then, you know, people teach about what it means, and then they're like, but this applies to, like, everybody. But it is interesting that there is, especially in history, there's a lot of writing where people say he, you know. So I don't really know. I feel like if it's affirming for people and it helps people to feel more seen and heard and recognized, then that's a good move on Geico. But I don't really know their exact purpose. Like, they didn't put, like, the purpose behind, like, why they're changing it. And I haven't looked into it, but it's just kind of funny. I kind of just put it in a drawer with my books, and I was just like, I wonder, you know, I was kind of thinking about it a bit. I was like, what the heck? What? You know? Because ordinarily I would have never really read even that far, you know? Like I said, I usually flip through the pages and stuff. But the whole thing doesn't seem to be about that. It was just interesting that I was like, oh, that's one of the very first parts, you know? It's like the second section. It's within the first quarter of the document, and it's like 13 pages. I don't know. It's like multiple pages long. But I don't think there's any more information in there about that topic, so I don't even really know what it is. But yeah, there's that. And then there's also, okay, I was gonna maybe talk about this dream. Now, you know, I would put this in the queer dreams category, because I've recorded about, you know, all the gay dreams I have. Not all of them. There's a couple that I haven't posted, and some that I'm not gonna post. But there was, I don't know, it was kind of dark, but it wasn't like scary or stressful for me. So like I mentioned, I talked yesterday about 5 minutes or so about those gummies I was trying, and then how I didn't really sleep that good. And then I talked this morning about how I slept way better, just going back to my usual thing. But that's kind of where I ended yesterday, because I was like, I kind of have like a bit of a creative block, and I don't really have, I have a bit of a creative block, and I don't really have anything I've been doing, like, yeah, I'm trying to, I don't know. Just trying to, yeah, so basically that's how far I talked about things. But then, yeah, yesterday morning, and I've forgotten some of this dream because it's been a day now, but surprisingly, I still remember enough of it, and I remembered last night too, and it wasn't scaring me, but it was just weird that I had a dream, and this was like around 6 o'clock in the morning. I went back to sleep. I kind of dozed back off because I was like, I don't really have much that I want to record, and that's why I only recorded for like 5 or so minutes, because I didn't have time by the time I got online yesterday, because I went back to sleep in the morning. So after going back to sleep, I had this dream, and I was laying down for maybe like 30 minutes, an hour or so, and I had this dream that, I think I was in the back seat of something that was like a dune buggy, maybe a little large. It had like 2 back seats or 3 back seats. And then it had like in the front, there was someone else driving. I feel like I knew the people, but I don't really know. And then, or maybe I just knew him because of the event. And I think in the dream, the setting was we were in the Pride Parade. I don't know if it was LA Pride Parade or in the Pride Parade. And, there was some kind of violence began happening where there were people who were, I think they were like opening fire, like with guns, and just kind of like, running through the place. And I think the people who were my drivers, I think it almost looked like video game style at a certain point. And I don't know if that person got like either hit, like punched or shot or what. But I think something happened to them. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, focus, don't get too like hyped up, because whoever was in the back seat with me, I was like, let me make sure we stick together and just make good decisions. And I'm looking, and people are kind of like wondering if they should start running all over the place. And you can kind of hear gunshots in like a distance, and you're like, what's going on? Do I run? Like, it wasn't at a point where everyone was just like chaotically running everywhere, but I was just kind of like, okay, we got to make a decision, and a smart one, and fast, and not get, either trampled or caught up in a whole bunch of groups of people. We need to go we need to get like safe, like somewhere safe. And I remember that was my mindset, was just like, keep calm, think of a way to get to safety, like ASAP, with this person with you. And then I kind of just like woke up from that. So I was like, okay, that was weird. I didn't feel stressed. I, like, even in the dream, I was, like, not stressed, but I was, like, you know, like, I was thinking about it last night, and I was just, like, you know, there was a threat before that Pride Festival. Or before, I don't know if it was the parade or the festival, but people were saying, you know, that there's a potential for some kind of threat because of all the political stuff going on with the Middle East. I think that's what I heard. People were saying that there's some, you know, ultra, you know, I guess groups of people that just don't really want, you know, LGBT rights, and they're going to possibly do something negative about it at one of these events. And I also heard about this with the LA Juneteenth festival that they hold at Leimert Park. And that festival actually got canceled. That event actually got canceled. It's no longer going to happen on Juneteenth. And so, or the weekend of Juneteenth. I don't know if it's the day over the weekend, but either way, it got canceled. And so, you know, I often think, I'm like, you know, this stuff doesn't bother me. You know, I started thinking about it last night. I was like, it doesn't really bother me, you know, but maybe it does bother me, you know, if I'm like dreaming about it. And it's not like I'm dreaming about it every day, but I mean, if it's popping up in my dreams, yeah, I don't really have a lot of dreams about violence, but this is probably the second dream that I've had that seemed like it had some kind of like gang related theme, like city with like people who are kind of maybe, you know, involved in crime in some way. Because I had another dream. It wasn't about pride. It was about, I don't know what it was about. But there were some gang related people that I was basically trying to, like, I kind of recognized what they were, who they were, and I was like, oh, maybe, you know, we need to just, I kind of had my eye out, and I was just like, okay, if they start approaching us or whatever, we need to get out of here. But I mean, I don't really live in like a super unsafe area, but I think there's something about just LA in general that my mind is kind of getting like, yeah, the safety status, the safety level is definitely changing. I haven't witnessed anything that crazy other than the guy who walked up my driveway when I was sitting in the car, and nothing happened from there, but it was still weird because it was light outside and I was sitting in the car talking to a friend on the phone, and he came right up by the driver's side and I could see him because there were people walking. It was like early evening, maybe 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m., so it wasn't even dark out yet. And this guy comes walking up beside, you know, my car, and he stops, and I think it's because he maybe heard me or saw me, but he didn't leave right away or didn't spook or didn't run away. He just kind of stood there for a while. And there were a couple nights, maybe one or two nights that I remember, I think two, that I remember around like 3 a.m. We have this motion sensor light that, you know, the sensor wouldn't pick up like a little animal, like a fly or like a squirrel or a cat. I mean, it has to be a significantly sized, you know, because it's kind of at a height, a certain height, where animals aren't like crossing by it. And so I know when I go, you have to be like at the front of my car or near that corner, kind of where that guy was going toward. You have to be like up near that corner of the house for it to activate at all. Like if you're at the door, it doesn't activate. If you're on the other side of the driveway, it doesn't activate. It only activates like near the front of that car that I have parked there in the driveway. So it's only if somebody's walking over to that side of the house, which is the side of the house that I'm on. So there's been like 3 maybe occasions since 2023. One of them was the guy, and 2 of them were like around 3 in the morning, that motion sensor light coming on. And so I'm like, somebody comes up near the house. I don't hear them. I don't know what they're doing, But I think people might be like looking in the car window to see if they're going to steal something. That's my best guess. Or because we grow vegetables and stuff, maybe they're hopping the fence and trying to like get vegetables. We did find a drone kind of in our tomato plants. I think that was in maybe 2023, maybe 2022. But somebody's drone got stuck or lost or fell into our yard, and they never came and retrieved it. And then my mom, maybe 2 months ago, captured footage of a drone kind of like hovering over our backyard, and she, whipped out her phone camera, and, it was there long enough for her to zoom in on it, and then it started coming like a little closer to her, and then it kind of just like sped away. But I mean, that was like at night, because it was like pretty dark out when that happened. And so, it's kind of weird. Like, none of that is something that is like, oh, somebody broke in or anything like that. It's not even on that level, but it's just like, okay, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like our house isn't that secure. So, it is kind of something that's like in the back of my mind. Because they're little things. But it's like, after a while, those little kind of things start adding up. And I mean, I'm not like stressing over it. It's not like bothering me so much or anything. It's just interesting, it's something I've got an eye on, and it's kind of an interesting way that things are unfolding. Like, I don't feel unsafe, but I am kind of like aware that, nowadays you kind of gotta, watch your back with things. But I don't know what to make of most of it. But yeah, that was kind of a weird dream, though. It wasn't scary. It wasn't a horror dream, especially because I don't really know who exactly was in the dream. Like, I can't think like of who the people were. Like, if I was like actually feeling very connected to these people, I don't really get that sense. But I did feel like some form of like care for trying to protect or make sure the person who was with me in the back seat was kind of, also getting to safety. But I don't usually have dreams like that, and it's kind of interesting that it was a dream related to pride. And, you know, I don't know, you know, if that dune buggy style car kind of has a significance. The other day I was watching, I watched something, I don't know if Andy Dick was on it, or sorry, no, it wasn't Andy, yeah, that's who's in the movie, In the Army Now, Andy Dick and Pauly Shore. Yeah, I was watching an old Kill Tony episode where Pauly Shore was in it, and then they kind of mentioned In the Army Now, and then I was like, oh, I forgot how much I like that movie, and then I went back to watch it, and there's that scene where they get those dune buggies, and I don't know, I think in the dream some of I think it's possible that some of the violence in that dream was attached to something with some Middle Eastern related issue, like they were the ones attacking. I don't know who it was from the Middle East, but I kind of got that impression that they were connected with that in the dream, but I don't really know for sure. Like, there was nothing. The only thing I'm thinking about is that dune buggy, and like, you would never have like a dune buggy in the middle of LA. But I just remember in the Army Now, they had the dune buggy. Well, after they sank their Hummer in the sand, but yeah, they were, I don't know where they were supposed to be. Like, if it was Chad or something, were they in Chad? I don't know where they were supposed to be, but yeah, that's kind of all I've really got for now, I guess, though. But I've got to see. I'm thinking of getting through some books and seeing kind of where that takes things. I'm really not sure what to do with it, but yeah. Well, I guess that'll wrap this one up. Because adding on that extra segment from yesterday, it's gonna be almost an hour. So, all right, guys. Till next time.